Christmas.
Santa is going to find out who's naughty or nice.
Welcome back to Ghost Rider Entertainment. I'm your host, Kane Becker, and today I give you 10 Christmas horror movie recommendations.
Let me tell you about Christmas. It ain't all candy canes and pretty lights.
That's right, guys. Today I'm going to give you 10 Christmas horror movie recommendations. Some of them you can find on Tubi, Shudder, Hulu. A couple, unfortunately, the only place I can find them is rent them from, Amazon Prime or something like that. But most of these you can track down pretty easily between Hulu, Shudder, and Tubi. So with that, let's get this list started. So coming in at number 10, I have Gingerbread Man. And Gingerbread Man is pretty much what you would expect. It's a bad movie. Okay, but it's so bad that I think it's good. I think it's fun. This isn't a movie you're going to be like, oh my god, it's the greatest movie ever. But I think you'll have fun with it. It's very schlocky with a lot of shitty dialogue and bad acting. But here's the kicker. It's got Gary Busey as the voice of this crazy little gingerbread man who runs around killing people.
Eat me, you punk bitch!
It's kind of a Child's Play ripoff in a way. It's definitely got a Child's Play vibe with the Chucky element to him, but it's definitely got its own thing going on. Granted, it does have way too much relationship drama, enough for 5 bad movies, but there's enough fun, crazy antics that happen in this movie, and enough hilarious dialogue given by Gary Busey that, to me, it's worth checking out, and it's available right now on Tubi. Alright, next up, coming in at number 9, I have the movie Jack Frost. And this is right in that same category as Gingerbread Man. It's another bad movie, but this one is just a lot of fun. I mean, you got a killer snowman. This serial killer dude gets killed and in some crazy way gets turned into a snowman, and it's just a lot of fun. This has a lot of the same vibes as Gingerbread Man.
Blow me.
A lot of really funny, hilarious, over-the-top scenes, but it's just like Gingerbread Man where there's a lot of stuff that's not great, acting, whatever, but there's a lot of just really schlocky, funny, just over-the-top stuff with this killer gingerbread man that I feel like it's worth a watch at least once because it's just that crazy of an over-the-top idea, and it's actually a little better than I think you'll expect it to be. It definitely has its moments where, strangely enough, it's actually a pretty fun movie. And, like Gingerbread Man, it is available right now on Tubi as well. Next up at number 8, I have Pooka. And Pooka actually surprised me because the movie is basically about this guy who's dressed up in this giant furry costume. Kind of think of like Furby because it's this new popular doll toy for kids. And he dresses up in the mascot type of thing to make this character come to life. But it really went where I did not expect it to go, and it ended up being a much, much better movie than I expected it to be. It's really not campy. It's really not over the top in that regard. It's kind of got some serious tones to it, and it's actually a pretty good movie. But it definitely has a lot of Christmas vibe to it, and a lot of things that are fun. And the fact that he's in this thing, in this big, hokey costume, it actually starts to twist and turn. And as the movie goes, it gets more and more creepy as he basically is taken over by this costume, basically. But you got to watch it to really see what I'm talking about. And it's available right now on Hulu. So if you have a Hulu account, it's a Hulu original. Next up at number 7, Silent Night. And this is basically a remake of the old 1980s Silent Night, Deadly Night. And the reason I didn't include that movie is because the only place I could find it was to stream for like $3. And to me, it's fun, but it's not worth spending $3 on. So I just didn't really recommend it on this list. But this one is available, and it's available on Tubi. And it's actually a lot better than I expected.
Christmas Eve is the scariest damn night of the year.
There's a lot of stuff that I'm not a huge fan of in this movie, but all in all, it's actually a really quality, solid slasher that is at Christmas time. If it wasn't a Christmas movie, I'm not sure if I would love it as much, but being that the dude's running around as Santa Claus killing people just gives it this extra charm. But it does have some stuff that bugged me, like some of the characters are really unlikable, and just in general, it's kind of got a mean-spirited quality to it, which can be fun in a way, but in ways and times anyway, in this movie was kind of a downer to me. But it is really a legitimate slasher with some really brutal kills and some really great gore. So if you're in the mood for a slasher this time of year that's not necessarily campy and fun, but more serious and dark and, gritty and brutal, this is actually a really good one for that. And like I said, it's available on Tubi. So I recommend checking this out. Number 6, Anna in the Apocalypse. And this is one of the most fun on this list. This movie was just an absolute blast. Basically, it's kind of a musical and it's a zombie musical. It's really weird, but it's really charming. And I thought it was a lot of fun. And I'm someone that hates musicals. But the way that it's done, it makes that element just kind of part of its quirky charm, and it's just fun. So it's about this group of teenagers that are in the middle of a zombie apocalypse that breaks out. And they're at their high school and with their friends, and they're trying to survive this apocalypse. And it just is, it's really campy and funny, but it's actually a really well done indie movie with some really solid acting and just a lot of fun. If you like zombie movies and you like that Christmas time of year kind of thing, it's like High School Musical meets Shaun of the Dead. I mean, I don't know, it's just a fun movie to me. I had a great time with it. And once again, it's available on Hulu. Next up at number 5, I have the original Black Christmas. And it's funny, I just went yesterday to the drive-ins because no damn theaters are open anymore. But I went to the drive-ins and watched the most recent release of Black Christmas, the 2018 version. And I've heard it's a bad movie, but I was not prepared. That movie is just so bad. But I'm not really going to get into that here, but I just was not a fan of it at all. But I am a fan of the original 1970s version of Black Christmas. It's got this just warped, really warped sense to it. But yet it's definitely a Christmas time. And it just has this really cool quality because of that. Because you take this wonderful time of the year and it's really represented like a really beautiful Christmas type of scene at times. And it's juxtaposed to this very warped, twisted serial killer out there just killing these poor teenage girls. And there's just some really quality acting in it. And just in general, this is just a really solid movie. And if you're looking for something that's classic, I don't think you can get better as far as that classic horror movie. But especially for a Christmas time of year classic horror movie. And it's one of the pioneers of the slasher subgenre as well. And it is available right now to stream on Tubi. And next up, I have the classic Gremlins. Everybody knows this movie. Most everybody loves this movie. And it's just a fun one, and I definitely recommend watching it this time of year. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it streaming anywhere for free, but I know probably a lot of people already own this. And if you don't own it, it's probably on TV somewhere.
Gremlins, directed by Joe Dante. They'll be expecting you.
No matter what, though, even if you got to spend the $3 to rent it, I think it's worth it because it's just so classic for this time of year. And it's just a lot of fun, and it's one you could actually watch with your kids. And it's a great, gateway horror type of movie as well. But it's just a fun one, and I don't need to say a lot more about it because everybody knows Gremlins. And with that, we go to number 3, and that would be the film Rare Imports. And this is a foreign film, so it does have subtitles, but it's really worth reading those captions because this is such a unique, such a different type of horror movie where Santa Claus is basically this bad guy, this creepy entity. And I don't want to give away too much because if you've never seen it, It's got a lot of twists and turns, and it's just a lot of fun. It's got humor. It's got creepy qualities. It's just very unique, very original, and just seriously a great, great, great Christmas horror movie.
Rauhallista joulua. Aivan vitun railakasta uutta vuotta.
So I highly recommend this one, and it is available right now on Tubi as well as multiple other platforms. So, I mean, I found it almost everywhere I looked. We go to number 2, and that would be the film Krampus. And I love this movie. There's just a lot of that Christmas charm in it, but it also is just very twisted and very creepy. I love the Krampus, the way he looks. I mean, as you can see, I have my Krampus mask that I just love so much right here. So, I mean, I love this movie.
It's Christmas. Nothing bad's gonna happen on Christmas.
And I'm actually going to be doing a full review of Krampus here in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned for that. This is one of those movies that it doesn't even matter as far as the horror list. I mean, this is just a movie that I love watching this time of year in general. And it's directed by Michael Dougherty, who is also the guy who did Trick or Treat. And it just has a lot of those same cool things that I loved about Trick or Treat. That whole aesthetics, just very, very detail-oriented, really feels like Christmas. And like I said, just the look of Krampus, everything about this is just a great movie. But unfortunately, I couldn't find it streaming anywhere. So the only place I could find it was to spend the $3 and rent it on Amazon Prime. But it's another one like Gremlins that I think is just so good that I think it's worth spending that couple bucks for it. But this next movie on the list is available somewhere to stream, and that would be on Shudder. And this is my number 1 pick on the list. And it is seriously the movie I'm the most excited about on this list because I just recently discovered it. And I did a full review on this movie, so right up here I'll have a little link to where you can click on it to watch the full review. But that movie is A Christmas Horror Story. And I just discovered this movie, and it is just so, so good. It reminds me so much of the movie Trick or Treat, but at Christmas time.
It's the war on Christmas.
It's just all those same qualities. It's very creepy, very disturbing at times, but yet still very Christmas. I mean, it really looks and feels like Christmas. And it's an anthology like Trick or Treat, and it's cool. There's 4 different stories that wind around, and they actually do connect in ways if you pay attention. But there's just so many layers to this movie. It looks brilliant. It's got amazing looking special effects and creatures in this. It's just got funny moments. There's these fucking zombie elves that just make me laugh every time I see them. The Santa Claus in it is just this badass old grizzled looking Viking. It's just a fantastic movie, and it's my number 1 pick. And like I said, it's available on Shudder, and it's worth it because a lot of people have Shudder, but if you don't, Shudder always does that 30-day free subscription. Check it out. Watch some cool stuff on Shudder because there's a lot of cool stuff on there. And then, you know, if you don't like it, get rid of it. But even if you do keep it, it's only like $5-6. So I think it's worth it. I love Shudder. A lot of people talk shit about it, but I think it's a great platform. And I don't get any kickback for saying that. I just genuinely do really dig Shudder. I love the idea of having like a Netflix for horror. For diehard horror fans, I mean, it's just awesome. But with that, that's going to wrap this list up. Please hit that subscribe button and ding the little bell if you haven't already, because that's the best way to keep track. And I'm trying my damnedest to get to that 1,000 mark, and I'm getting closer and closer all the time. And I appreciate you guys so much for helping me get there. But like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember, horror can be fun. I will see you guys next time.